Welcome to another edition of MIW. Got the D-Man here, and I am glad you could join me today. Today the topic is the kingdom of heaven is within you. No, it's not a religious story. I'm reading out of the book by Neville Goddard, At Your Command. And we are on what page are we on? Page 6. This is a series, and we are starting on page 6 in the book At Your Command by Neville Goddard. Smash that like button and subscribe. Share this with a friend. And if you'd like to get my help personally, you can contact me at marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. Without further ado, here we go. Consciousness is the resurrecting power, resurrecting that which man is conscious of being. Man is ever out picturing that which he is conscious of being. This is the truth that makes man free. For man is always self-imposed or self-freed. You are always self-imposed or self-freed or limited or set free by your own conception of yourself, by the beliefs you hold about yourself. The world will bear witness to who you believe that you are. Have you ever had someone treat you badly and continue to do so? It's because you have taught them how to treat you. You have projected from your consciousness the image of a person that feels they deserve to be treated that way. And this person that's treating you badly is bearing witness to your conception of yourself. Now you think, how can that be? But it is because it's there to help you to see that. We cannot see in ourselves as well as we can see other people reflecting back to us what we think about ourselves. They're telling us who we are. So we can see where we are, so we can start from there to become who we want to become. It's really hard to start out and achieve something unless you know where you're coming from. Like the first step in getting your finances in order is finding out where you are financially right now. So it's the same thing with you, your consciousness. You need to find out where you are, how you think about or how you feel about yourself in consciousness. Where are you in consciousness? Because you will only achieve or demonstrate what you believe you are inside in your consciousness. Okay. If you, the reader, will give up all of your former beliefs in a God apart from yourself, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. Jesus said that. Jesus, out of the Bible. If you're a Christian, if you're not, he's still a great prophet, okay? He was a wise man if you don't believe in the Christian faith. I'm not preaching religion here. Okay. Claim God as your awareness of being. What are you aware of being? That is what you will express. As Jesus and the prophets did, you will transform your world with the realization that I and my Father are one. God and you are one. But God, or your Father, or your higher intelligence, or divinity, or supreme intelligence, whatever you want to call it, is greater than you. Greater than the conscious mind, the rational mind, the logical mind. This statement, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I, seems very confusing. But if interpreted in the light of what we have just said concerning the identity of God, you will find it very revealing. Consciousness, being God, is as Father. The thing that you are conscious of being is the Son bearing witness to his Father. It is like the conceiver in its conceptions. The conceiver is greater than his conceptions, yet ever remains one with his conception. For instance, before you are conscious of being man, you are first conscious of being. You are. Your consciousness determines who you are. You can change your conscious awareness of yourself, and when you do, people will reflect that back to you. Sometimes I get a little excited. I speak too fast. So I have to slow myself down. Then you become conscious of being man, yet you remain as conceiver greater than your conception man. You are always greater than you conceive yourself to be. We are very powerful, but most people tone that power down. They're afraid to believe. Better you err or demonstrate on the side of arrogance rather than on the side of lowliness. We have such a low conception of ourselves. What is the difference between you and a multimillionaire or a billionaire? It's your conception of yourself. It's his conception of himself. What is the difference between you and the man who gets all the women? His conception of himself. You've seen, I'm sure as well as I have, men that are really lacking for looks. And they pick up the beautiful women. And you know you're better looking and more successful than this man. How can that be? Because his conception of himself is greater than yours. And he demonstrates that by the way the women are attracted to him. This is in regards to women. But that's in regards to everything in your life. If you look at someone who is more successful than you and you see that, you have that potential in you, or you wouldn't be able to see it. You would be blinded to it. The world is making you aware, or God, or consciousness, higher self, whatever, is making you aware that you too have those abilities in you, that you too can become that which you admire. It is impossible for you to see anything unless it is within you, unless you have the capacity yourself to achieve or become whatever it is you're looking at, or you're dwelling upon, or you're viewing, or you're perceiving. Jesus discovered this glorious truth and declared himself to be one with God, not a God that man had fashioned, for he never recognized such a God. He said, "If any man should ever come saying, 'Look here,' or 'Look there,' believe them not, for the kingdom of God is within you." The kingdom of God is within you. It's within you. And you are the king of your kingdom. You control what thoughts go on in your kingdom. Only you rule within you. And when you can control your kingdom within and create with your imagination what you want within here, it manifests itself in the world. All great things that you see that have been invented or created were first created in the mind of man, in the imagination of man. The problem is most people create by default. They spend too much time thinking about what they want, what they don't have, what they can't do. One of the first things people think of when they want something is, I can't afford that. Where will I get the money? The money is a means to an end. You need to focus on the vision. Forget about the money. When your vision in your mind is strong enough and realistic enough, it will manifest itself. The money, if you need money, it will come to you. Now, if you think that money is the only way you can attain or be or have whatever you want, then you limit yourself. You limit the creative power which can work to give you what you want. You limit yourself by your limited thinking. There's trillions and billions of dollars flying through the air right now. Zeros through messages and radio waves and different sorts like that. There's trillions of dollars. Okay? You don't have it because you don't believe it's possible. You have to expand your consciousness, whether it be money, women, lands, whatever you desire. But it's not the goal. It's not when you get these things. It's what you become in the process of moving towards these things. And that's where the joy and the happiness and the fulfillment lies. We didn't come in this world to be happy. We're going to have some happy times, and we're going to have some sad and miserable times. But if you want fulfillment, pursuing your goals and your visions will bring you true fulfillment. When you put that first and foremost, when you put creativeness first and foremost in your life in the direction of your vision and your desires and your goals, then everything follows from that. Seek ye first. Look first for the kingdom of God. Okay, the kingdom of God. The kingdom of your imagination. Your imagination is God. Now, you may say, oh, Mark, it's not. It's that white-headed guy up in the sky. Well, if you imagine that to be God, then that's what will be God for you. I'm not saying that you or I are the God that made the world, okay, that created the seas and the land. But what I am saying, that you are the center of your universe. Your world is within your head, within your perceptions. Your imagination creates what kind of a world you live in. What you perceive the world to be is created by the filters that you have acquired from your birth. Now you can change these filters. That's why two people can look at one thing. For example, our election. We have two presidents that people were bitterly opposed, okay? Regardless of who you wanted to win, you have the same person. You have one president, you have the other president. There's only two people, but everybody sees each one of those presidents or differently. I guess they're not both presidents yet, but let's say candidates. Each person sees those candidates differently, even though it's the same person. It's your perception of that person. Why is it one rational, logical person could look at one of the candidates and think he's the greatest, he's the best, and the other logical, rational person, both of high intelligence, will look at the other one and think he's the best? Different perceptions, different filters. Same people, different perceptions. Because you view the world through your filters and your perceptions. It's truly difficult to keep an open mind. I'm glad it's over. I think it's over. I'm glad it is. We will proceed. All right. Therefore, when it is recorded that he went unto his Father, it is telling you that he rose in consciousness to the point where he was just conscious of being. He wasn't conscious of being man or Jesus or a teacher or a master or what was he? He was Arab. Was he Arab? I think he was. Or no, Hebrew. I think he was Hebrew. Well, anyway, he wasn't conscious of being a race. He was just conscious of being. Only he was conscious of being. He did not put a persona on that being. He wasn't Jesus. He wasn't a nationality or a race or a citizen of a certain town. He was just conscious of being. Okay? Thus, transcending the limitations of his present conception of himself called Jesus. You have to transcend your present conception of yourself. Leave the old self behind and rise into a higher consciousness of the new self you want to be, or step into that consciousness, or step into that personality. When you visualize, see yourself as that person. Feel yourself how you would be if you were that person. Feel yourself. When you walk into a place, when you go somewhere, present yourself. Walk like that person would walk. Talk like that person would talk. Think that everyone is looking at you because you are important if that's what you desire to be. Be the person. Don't think about when you will be the person, but be that person now. Take on that consciousness now. And if you don't know how, read books about people who are or who have what you want to be or have. And look how they think. Take on what they thought and make that work within you. You won't think exactly like they do, but you can take on their attitudes and their thought processes and meld them with your own and become the person you want to be. You can use them as a model. I'm not telling you to copy them, but use them as a model, as a guide. In the awareness of being, all things are possible. He said, you shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. You shall say a thing and it shall come to be. On my wall here, I have something like it's posted on there. It says, what you speak is what you create. What you speak is what you create. From the fullness of the mouth, from the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Listen to people talking. Listen to poor people talk. Listen to what they're saying, because their words will convey to you what their thought process is like. Then listen to successful people. Their words will convey to you what their thought processes are like, what is going on in their kingdom. Because whatever goes on in here will present itself in your outer world. Just try it. Hey, don't believe me. Try it. Try it for more than a day. Try it for more than a week. Try it for months on end and see if people don't start telling you what you are. The new self, the new consciousness that you have put on. Okay, in the awareness of being, all things are possible. I may have read this, but I'll read it again. You shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. I think I did. This is his decreeing. Rising in consciousness, elevating, expanding your consciousness to be to the naturalness, to where it feels natural to be the conscious, to be the person that you desire to be today. Rise in consciousness and feel and act like that person. You can't feel your way into good acting, but you can act your way into feeling. If you take the actions of a person you want to be, you will start feeling. The feelings will follow. And those feelings is what will change your consciousness along with the actions. It's like a one accents the other. It's like a snowball. As you work those two things together, they will become more. They will become greater. And the belief will become stronger within yourself. Because everything begins within you, within your consciousness. What's the difference between you and, let me say, Jeff Bezos? The way he thinks, his consciousness. You have the same abilities he has. Or who's the other one, the computer guy? I know his name and I can't think of it. Bill Gates. Okay. Bill Gates. It's the way he thinks. It's the way he thinks. He's not smarter than you. He's not more brilliant than you. Well, you think, yeah, but he did those computers. I can't do that. But in that area, he may be. But there's other things that you can do. Let's say you're a ditch digger and use a shovel. He can't dig ditches like you can. There is an art to digging ditches because I used to do it. There's an art to that. We have work on my in my company where we just fill nail holes, right? Now you think it takes no brilliance to fill nail holes, but there's an art to that. I could put Bill Gates on that and he would figure it out maybe faster than most, but it's an art, it's a skill. He doesn't know how to do it. I could not just give him the putty and say, hey, go fill those holes. I would have to teach him how to do that. Okay? And what he does, maybe you can't do that, but he could teach you. You would have to learn. Someone would have to teach you how to do that. The only thing that stops you from becoming as rich as Bill Gates is your consciousness, is your beliefs. If you really believe that you are as smart or as intelligent or as brilliant as he is, your actions would show that belief. Faith without works is dead. Belief without action is dead. Because if you're not taking action, you really don't believe it. Then that belief is dead. Your beliefs are dead. If you're not taking action, you really don't have the belief. It's a dead belief. And if I be lifted up, I shall draw all men unto me. If I be lifted up in consciousness, I will draw the manifestation or my desire to me. It will be drawn to me. If I lift my consciousness up to the point to where I am conscious of being or having the thing or being the person I want to be. I thought I put airplane mode on, but I guess I didn't. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. I got a little pop up here. Okay. Yes. If I be lifted up in consciousness to the naturalness of the thing desired, I will draw the manifestation of that desire unto me. For he states, no man, no manifestation, nothing comes to me unless the Father within me draws it. Unless my consciousness, the power within me, the Father, the God, the higher intelligence, the higher self within me, creates that first and draws that to me, I cannot make it happen. And if I do make it happen with my small I, my rational, logical mind, I won't be able to keep it because I don't really own it, or I am not it in consciousness. I and my Father are one. Therefore, consciousness is the Father that is drawing the manifestations of life to you. You are, at this very moment, drawing into your world that which you are now conscious of being. Whatever you are conscious of being, that is why your world is how it is. That is what you're drawing into your world. Think about that. Many people think they think, but they don't. Contemplate on the words that I'm telling you. To contemplate means to sit and think about that. Most people just think about what's happened, what they watched on TV, what's going on, what they're seeing with their senses. Think with your mind. Think with your imagination. Think of new things. Focus on what you want in life. When you catch yourself reminiscing about the past, reminisce about the future you desire to have in your life. And these thoughts and these will lead you into actions to make this come to pass. Okay. Now you can see what is meant you must be born again. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression in life, the only way to change it is to take your attention away from that which seems so real to you and rise in consciousness to that which you desire to be. You cannot serve two masters. You can't stay thinking about what you are now and living in that consciousness when you want to be somebody else or have something else. You've got to take your attention off of what you believe yourself to be now or what you have now, whether it be problems, bills, whatever it is, bad luck with women or bad relationships, and rise or change or think or feel or imagine what you want to be. Don't trust your senses. Focus on what is in your imagination, what you want. Negate anything in your mind that does not align with what you desire your life to be like. Therefore, to take your attention from one state of consciousness and place it upon another is to die to one and to live to another. For example, as I told you before, I was at one time a pro boxer. Okay, I'm not a pro boxer anymore. I don't think about pro boxing. Well, I can't say I never think about it, but rarely do I think about it. As when I used to do it, I thought about it 24 hours a day. I thought about everything about it. I visualized what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, and I became that. I first became it in consciousness. It started with an idea. But when I quit, I died to that. I let it die. And I started running marathons. And then I became a triathlete. So when I was the persona or the personality of a triathlete, or the consciousness of a triathlete, I was not in the consciousness of a boxer anymore. The boxer consciousness had died. I allowed that to die. That was a master. And then I took on the new master of the triathlete. I started thinking like a triathlete. I swam, I biked, I ran, I lived. I took on the consciousness, the attitudes, the actions of a triathlete. Okay, that was very good. I qualified for the nationals, but I did not go because still I had low self-esteem, low self-worth. I did not value myself enough to believe that I could do something like that, I could be better, which is ridiculous because I was good enough to qualify, but I didn't go because I didn't think I was good enough to go. See, it doesn't matter what's out there or what people tell you. It's what I believed about myself is what held me back. Same in boxing. I was afraid, but I didn't know it was fear. Fear is the great enemy of all your dreams and desires. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I have fears now about what I'm doing. I had no idea how to start a YouTube channel. I didn't know how to make a video. I didn't know how to make a thumbnail. I didn't know how to operate this camera. But I learned. But I was afraid, but I learned. And as I do it, I learn more. I took on the consciousness of a YouTuber. And this you can do too with whatever you want. You can take on the consciousness. Take the small steps, the actions. Take the first step. You don't have to know everything. It will come. Well, that is the end of that chapter. I hope this has been of value to you. Share it with a friend. Smash that like button. And as I said, if you'd like to get my help personally, you can contact me at marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. And have a great day. Thanks for being here.